Welcome back to Gordy's Magical Advent Calendar Podcast. It's December 7th, and it's time for another elf-tastic adventure through the North Pole. After helping Santa fix his sleigh, Gordy is excited for his next holly jolly task. What could it be? It was the day of the North Pole's Great Sleigh Race, and so Gordy was betting his new mission would have something to do with that. Like clockwork, the calendar chimed and Gordy opened the small door with the number 7, beaming as he listened to Santa's message.
Ho, ho, ho! Hello, Gordy! Merry Sleigh Race Day! I hope you are ready to compete, because there have been rumors that someone might try to cheat, and I need you to stop them.
Santa's voice faded away as quickly as it appeared. Just then, Gordy heard the trumpets outside, announcing the beginning of the race preparations. Gordy needed to hurry, so he dashed to his sleigh garage and grabbed his gingerbread sleigh.
There you are!
Pulling the sleigh behind him, Gordy arrived at the town center, where all different types of magical creatures were making the final tweaks on their sleighs. Who could be the one trying to cheat, though? Some tundra wolves polished their shiny metal sleigh, while a couple of aurora bears removed splinters from their wooden one. A snow monster, who of course had a snow sleigh, was having trouble fitting into the driver's seat. He was way too big. Then Gordy saw the ice fairies.
Wow!
They had the prettiest, most sparkling sleighs Gordy had ever seen. It was hard to tell since there were so many of them gathered, but it almost looked like one of the sleighs was hovering above the ground, like it was flying. Gordy knew that was against the sleigh race rules, but he needed to be sure before telling Santa. He decided to approach the suspicious ice fairy.
Wow, that's a beautiful sleigh. What is it made of?
Her name was Flurry, and she quickly sat on her sleigh, forcing it to stop hovering and touch the ground. Now Gordy was sure she was hiding something. Flurry tried to act natural and said the sleigh was made of the ice glitter from the shiny ice field, but Gordy could see her struggling to keep it from floating.
The Great Sleigh Race is starting. Place your sleighs at the start line and get ready.
Everyone rushed to the track, including Flurry and the other ice fairies, leaving Gordy alone in the prep area. He knew he needed to stop Flurry from breaking the rules, but how? The race started and Gordy jumped on his sleigh and sped off, going as fast as he could to keep up with Flurry. As they went down the racetrack, the Aurora Bears were taking the lead, but the Tinsel Trolls were close behind, trying to pass them. Gordy watched as everyone took a right turn, but Flurry paused for a moment and skidded left, riding away from the track. What was she up to?
I need to follow her.
Gordy followed, turning left and slowing down, trying to keep hidden. He watched as Flurry hopped off her sleigh, grabbed a small bag from her pocket and opened it, hiding behind a thick bush. Gordy could see it was fairy dust. Of course! Flurry was using fairy dust to make her sleigh fly.
Hey, that's against the rules.
Gordy stepped out from behind the bush to confront Flurry, but she was fast and hopped into her sleigh to drive off. Gordy followed, pushing his gingerbread sleigh as fast as possible. He couldn't let her get away. They continued down the side path until Flurry started to merge back into the racetrack. Gordy could see her reaching into her bag, but just as she pulled out a handful of fairy dust, she hit a small bump and accidentally dropped the entire bag onto her sleigh. Gordy rushed after her, but her sleigh was now out of control. She spiraled upwards into the air and, scared, let go of her flying sleigh. Everyone stopped racing and watched as she dropped from the sky, headed straight down. Gordy had to think fast, so he stepped out of his own sleigh and pushed it forward with all his might. The crowd watched in fear, worried for the little fairy. But Gordy had timed it just right, and Flurry fell right onto the sleigh's gumdrop cushions. She was safe! As Flurry got up and thanked Gordy, a little embarrassed, one of the snow monsters rushed past, distracted and not noticing the incident. Gordy and Flurry watched as the snow monster, squished into his sleigh, beamed with joy crossing the finish line. The snow monster was so excited and so grateful for Gordy's help, he gave him a big monster hug. Gordy giggled and hugged him back. He was so happy to have saved Flurry and helped keep the competition fair for everyone. If you want to see and hear more about Gordy, check him out on YouTube. Also, tune in tomorrow for Gordy's next magical Advent calendar adventure. Welcome back to Gordy's Magical Advent Calendar Podcast. It is December 8th, which means another adventure with Gordy. Last time, Gordy saved the day at the sleigh race. Let's see what the magical Advent calendar has in store today. Gordy heard the magic of the Advent calendar and saw the 8 light up. He excitedly opened today's door.
Hi, Santa.
Ho, ho, ho! Hello, Gordy. The toy soldier guards from my workshop have gone missing. Could you find them for me? We need them back at the workshop as soon as possible. Good luck.
Santa's voice faded away and Gordy grabbed his candy cane skis and his magical icicle ornament. He didn't know what he'd need to help him today. As Gordy made his way through the hustle and bustle of the village, he saw Santa's workshop in the center. Santa's workshop was easily the tallest building in the entire North Pole. It was built of gingerbread and was circular in shape, with a red and green glass dome ceiling. Gordy knew that this was where Santa's sleigh launched out of on Christmas Eve. As he arrived in front of the workshop, Gordy noticed that the 2 large toy soldiers were indeed not in front of the door. He saw that there were large footprint tracks. He decided to follow them. Gordy got on his skis and raced away. The large footprints eventually led him towards the outskirts of town, right where the gingerbread mines were.
Oh no, the tracks stop at the entrance to the mines.
The magical gingerbread was so warm and cozy that the surrounding snow had melted, melting away the tracks. Gordy would have to go into the mines and look for a new clue. All Gordy could hear was a distant scraping further down the mines.
How odd.
Listening carefully, Gordy followed the sound. Unsure of what might be making the sound, he slowly turned a corner and saw
The toy soldiers.
Gordy jumped with joy. He was so happy to see the 2 giant toy soldiers. But joy quickly turned to curiosity as he noticed that they both were using their hands to dig directly into the gingerbread wall, causing the mine to shake.
Be careful. Without the right tools, the mine might collapse.
But the toy soldiers ignored Gordy. It was then that he noticed that the soldiers' eyes were glowing pink. That was unusual.
We need to get you both back to Santa's workshop right now.
The sound of a mine cart rang down the mine, and soon a large steel mine cart rolled in.
Where did that come from?
A large penguin with pink goggles jumped out of the cart. The penguin seemed surprised Gordy was there.
Who are you?
Hi, I'm Gordy, and these soldiers are Santa's. I need to bring them back to him.
The penguin looked at Gordy curiously and then shook his head.
These are my soldiers, and they're gonna help me steal all this gingerbread right out from under Santa's nose.
The penguin's pink goggles were so bright Gordy could hardly see. Wait! Gordy realized the goggles had the same pink glow as the toy soldier's eyes. The penguin must be controlling the soldiers with magic. Gordy rushed over to the toy soldiers to try and shake them out of the penguin spell.
Santa needs you!
As Gordy was shaking the toy soldiers, he felt how warm they were. They were overheating! This mine would melt them if he didn't get them out of here. Gordy turned around to see the penguin shoving a bunch of the gingerbread into the mine cart.
Oh no! It's too hot! The toy soldiers will melt!
The penguin then jumped into the mine cart. He hit a lever and the mine cart sped off out of sight. The entire mine started to shake as the toy soldiers kept pounding the gingerbread walls. Gordy could see their metal starting to melt.
We gotta cool you down! That's it!
Gordy activated his icicle ornament. He could taste the minty fresh magic, and he breathed out a huge ice cloud. The toy soldiers were now frozen solid. Gordy saw that their eyes turned back to their normal color. The icy shock must have broken the penguin's spell. The toy soldiers both broke free of the ice. The toy soldiers thanked Gordy and then picked him up and ran. The mine was collapsing!
Oh, candy canes!
They all jumped out of the mine door, just as it all collapsed behind them. Back at Santa's workshop, the toy soldiers were now back to their post. Gordy told Santa about the mysterious penguin who had stolen the gingerbread. Who could they be? And how did they control the toy soldiers with magic? Gordy would have to find out on another adventure. If you want to see and hear more about Gordy, check him out on YouTube. Also, tune in tomorrow for Gordy's next Magical Advent Calendar adventure. Welcome back to Gordy's Magical Advent Calendar podcast. It's December 9th, and it's time for another Christmas mission, given by Santa himself. After yesterday's runaway toy soldier rescue, Gordy knows he needs to be ready for anything. Like any good Christmas elf, Gordy loves to sing, dance, and listen to music whenever possible. So it was no wonder he was so excited about the Jingle Bell Jamboree, a fun night of playing jingle bells and hanging out with his fellow elves. Gordy was just polishing his bells when the calendar chimed and Gordy opened the small door with the number 9.
Ho, ho, ho! Hello, Gordy! There's no time to waste. You must go to the Jamboree stage and help. All the bells have come to life and won't stop dancing away. Can you save the show?
Gordy couldn't believe the bells were refusing to stay and play music. Who wouldn't want to play in the Jamboree? He rushed out of his gingerbread house and was quickly at the stage. When he opened the door, he couldn't believe his eyes.
Frosted snowflakes!
The music stage, which was usually a very simple and peaceful wooden platform, was now a loud racket of chimes. Bells were dinging around everywhere, being chased by desperate elves. Gordy watched as his friends tried and failed to contain the bells. What could have happened there? The music director elf told Gordy that it had been Tumbles, the clumsiest elf in the North Pole, who accidentally dropped a cauldron of whimsy dust from the whimsical meadow and brought all the bells to life. Now nobody could sing or play any music over the noisy bells. Gordy had never dealt with whimsy dust outside the whimsical meadow, but he had an idea on how to fix this.
Tumbles, you have to find water from the Sleepy Glacier. That might help calm them down.
Tumbles rushed off, wanting to prove himself after the accident. Now, Gordy had to find a way to gather the bells all in one place so they could be turned back to normal. Last time, he was able to play catch with the sleigh lanterns and talk to them. Could that work again?
Hey, Jingle Bells, come and catch me!
Gordy pretended to run and hide, but the bells didn't seem to care at all. They were happy jumping around and making super loud chimes. Gordy's plan wasn't working, and the Jamboree was fast approaching, so he needed to think on his feet. That's it! His feet! If the bells didn't want to play catch, maybe they'd like to dance with Gordy. Gordy excitedly began to tap dance, his small elf feet moving fast on the wooden floor. The bells stopped ringing and seemed to pay attention to him. Gordy tapped a little faster, and the bells were definitely watching him now. As Gordy tapped, the bells slowly began to chime along, moving as he moved. They were following his rhythm like dancers to a choreographer. The other elves watched in awe as the bells continued to move towards Gordy, chiming along like the loudest synchronized swimmers ever.
This is even more fun than the normal Jamboree. Keep coming, little bells.
Gordy tap-danced his way to an empty toy box, and using his musical feet, he was able to guide the bells into the box and close it without much effort. The other elves cheered, thanking Gordy for his help. And just in time, Tumbles walked through the door, back from the sleepy glaciers.
I found the magical water and we can turn everything back to normal!
Tumbles and the others were relieved and happy to continue with their Jamboree plans. Gordy thought he should be happy too, since he had helped and done what Santa had asked. But he had had so much fun dancing with the bells. Something just didn't feel right.
Wait! What if we don't turn them back?
The other elves were hesitant, but they trusted Gordy, so they watched on. He opened the box back up and started tap dancing again, now to the tune of Deck the Halls. The bells began to hop out of the box in a line, chiming to the song.
Come on, we can all do it! It's the dancing Jingle Bell Jamboree now!
The other elves were still a bit nervous about this change, but they could see how much fun Gordy was having, so they started to tap along. Soon the stage was filled with happy elves tapping and even happier bells chiming in tune. Now the dancing Jingle Bell Jamboree was more fun than ever. Gordy was so happy he could dance and sing along with his elf friends and his new bell friends. If you want to see and hear more about Gordy, check him out on YouTube. Also, tune in tomorrow for Gordy's next magical Advent calendar adventure. And don't forget to keep dancing and chiming.